You have to start with doing no harm. You must have excellent filtration, excellent ventilation, frequent fresh air turnover. That's a given. I mean, and interestingly, I'd say about every 30 years or so, the building science and medical community recognize that we need to have clean air. And we are actually now, especially at a moment where it is globally accepted. You know, the United Nations kickoff for the global initiative on healthy air shows that countries and organizations around the world recognize this. And this is because of COVID. You know, with COVID, everybody in the entire world became a building science expert and knew what MERV 13 filters were. Who knew that before COVID? You know, we know that we need frequent fresh air turnover. Why is that? Because the virus was spread through the ventilation system. And in order to reduce your susceptibility to the virus, you need to reduce the dose to which you're exposed, so how much of the virus, the duration of exposure, and that comes through healthy, clean air and frequent fresh air turnover and excellent ventilation and filtration. However, the third leg of the stool is your own resilience. Whether you get sick and how sick you get from anything, a virus, a bacteria, mold, allergy, whatever it is, depends on the dose to which you're exposed, the duration of exposure, and your own resilience. And it's the resilience piece which has been ignored or left out, designing for well-being. I think it's because it sounds a little new age, shishi foo-foo, you know, well-being, what's well-being? In fact, I was once at a U.S. Green Building Council conference and I used the word well-being, and a woman stood up and said, "You can't use that word, that's too new age." And I said, no, it's not new age. Well-being is really an essential part of health. So the biomedical model of health is do no harm, get rid of disease, right? Think about the National Institutes of Health in the United States. Each institute is named for a disease, right? Cardiovascular disease, neurological diseases and stroke, infectious diseases. And that's typically for hundreds of years, the biomedical model of health, get rid of disease. But we've gone way beyond that now. We can actually prevent disease through enhancing resilience and your own ability to fight disease, together with all of the, you know, space age treatments that have been developed. And that's called integrative medicine. It's a form of preventive medicine.
Yeah, and I've had this conversation, and I've spoken to you about this before with the medical community. They fixing stuff that's gone wrong is a safe space for medicine, isn't it? Because people come in deficit, and your job is to reduce that deficit. Well, you know, at a very simple level, you come in with a broken leg and you go away with a not broken leg anymore. That's the measurement of success. It's a safe space. You know, people understand that and are comfortable in that. But as you say, when you get into this world of well-being, it becomes an uncomfortable space for many, to be quite frank. And it was the bit, you know, I'll be honest with you, it was the bit when I was reading at a high level your book that the word jumped out at me: spirituality. You know, you're looking at a book about the built environment. I read a heading of a chapter of the book on spirituality and talking about shishi and foo-foo and getting a bit nervous and a bit twitchy in my seat. I was going, oh my God, wonder what that section's going to be about. So we'll dive into that. But it's interesting, isn't it? We focus on energy efficiency and ergonomics and sustainability, but a central pillar for buildings is well-being. They have to work for people. And you were talking about this element, you know, I was noting down here, resilience. You know,
yes,
well-being isn't just about feeling nice in a space. We all know that we perform better, we're more resilient, we that we'll come up. We should come onto the spirituality bit because it's important. It's about focus and flow and creating nurturing spaces.
Yes.
I think people, if they stop for a second, can probably get that at some level makes some sense that a space has to work for us, doesn't it?
Well, I want to go back to your saying medicine is biomedical model and medicine is about fixing things. So is building science, facilities managers. They're always fixing things, right? There's a leak, the HVAC isn't working, and that's essential. And that's easy to grasp. It's easy. It's concrete, right?
And it's reactive. You don't have to plan too much. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think that well-being, the word well-being maybe has a bad rap because it has been in the bucket of that new age kind of thing. But as you said, resilience. Now, resilience is think about resilience like you think about a rubber band. If a rubber band is new and you stretch it, it bounces back right away. If it's played and old, you stretch it and it doesn't bounce back. And that's how our bodies are. You need to be able to respond to any invader, any stressor, whether it's bacteria, whether it's an emotional stress, and then quickly get back to baseline. And that's what really resilience is, and that's what health is, and that's what well-being is. And without being able, the goal is not to get rid of stress. So don't even try, right? Forget it. There's lots of stresses. There's huge numbers of stresses in the world now. And you can't get rid of it. You need your stress response to be able to react, to fight or flee, to help you heal. You need that stress response, but it needs to go back to baseline. And that's where the environment that you live in or work in or play. My book is called Well at Work, Creating Well-Being in Any Workspace. One of the readers told me you should have called it Well at Life, because it talks about how you can create your well-being spaces. Really, it can be applied to wherever you work, wherever you learn, wherever you live, wherever you play. It's all the same principles. And the principles are based on the 7 domains of integrative health, which the Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine has defined as the now, integrative medicine is a way of enhancing your resilience, enhancing your well-being through prevention. And what are the 7 domains? Sleep, resilience, so the stress and relaxation response, environment, which includes clean air and, no off-gassing and no toxins and whatever, but it also includes the green environment, movement, relationships, spirituality, and nutrition. So that's where, you talked about this, there's 7 chapters in the middle of the book where I talk about each of these domains and how you can embed them into the built environment. And spirituality is one of them. And I have to tell you, that was the hardest chapter to write, because how do you bring spirituality into the workplace? And I don't mean religiosity. So what are the elements of spirituality? There's a temporal domain and there's a physical domain. So the temporal domain is going offline for a few moments during the day, having a chance to meditate, but you don't have to say Om or sit with your legs crossed. It's just being in the moment. And that helps to kick in your relaxation response and reduce your stress response. The physical domain is, in order to be able to engage in these activities that help you balance your stress and relaxation response, you need the spaces to do it. If you're working in a large barn with many, many desks and lots of noise and no place to go and no access to the outdoors or nature or any of these experiences that can help reduce your stress, then you cannot achieve that state of balance. So you need to be in a space where you can go to different places and spaces that are designed to support well-being and going offline for a moment and so on.